Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Trip Around Multiverse with your host, the man from Parts Unknown, which kind of has nothing to do with the guy we're talking about, Kyle Charles, and my co-host CY, who is obviously not here because this is a new intro, because this is part 2 of our Sting career look back. And last we left off, I remember the last bit talking about Shawn Michaels and doing stuff for his click buddies. I can't remember before that. But anyways, on to our episode of Sting. And I'll catch you at the end. Enjoy.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm going to jump in a bit ahead here, but so Hogan actually has never beaten Sting.
Hasn't he? Oh yeah, because they had a match in TNA and then he.
Yeah. So officially, okay, yes, shenanigans and whatever, right? But if you go on official records for matches that aren't ruled no contests or reverted or whatever, Hogan has never beaten Sting.
Good.
But even then, you see the way that Sting beats him. It don't make Sting look good either. No, it's not as if Sting got over by beating Hogan.
It's like it was a real damper on everything you think about it.
Yeah. I will say, funny enough, how Sting can be the most overman in WCW by not speaking.
Yeah. But, it just shows. You can't do something like that nowadays.
Oh, I think they did try with, I say nowadays, but they tried in 2014, 2016, around that time with AJ Styles.
Oh,
where
where
he was the outcast and had the Evil Ways theme song.
Yep.
But they still did not. And then one of his first matches back, he got pinned by Austin Aries.
Yep.
Like, they both fell. It was a discus 5-arm, and I think they both went down, and then the Austin Aries' arm was on AJ Styles. So he was pinned. But he's just like, what? If you're meant to make the guy come back.
Actually, if I remember correctly, that kind of led into his story, because if I remember correctly, he came back for the Bound of Glory tournament.
Yeah.
And then he started off like really crappy in the tournament, and then he.
Oh really? I thought he was doing really well in the tournament, and then
he started off crappy, and then he got all these points back, and then that's how he was able to face Bully Ray for the honor of TNA and the TNA World Title at Bound for Glory. Yeah.
Honor. In quotation marks at that point, because
what he did for him next was a joke as well. But see, when you think about it now, AJ was the TNA version of Sting. They always relied on AJ, like they always relied on Sting. New flashy toy. I'm like,
he was their number one baby face as well.
Yeah,
they pushed him to the top.
Yep.
And then he converted. Well, he was always Christian, so so a lot of parallels, advertent or inadvertent,
The only sort of difference is that actually no, because they in TNA, AJ always was like a terrible heel. He just never came across as a good heel. Until he went to Japan and learned how to actually speak. That sounds really weird, but
I think after Ric Flair came to TNA, right?
Yeah.
AJ still wasn't a great heel, but I think he learned enough from Flair to when he went to Japan, it helped him.
Yeah. And that's why, like, even when he's like being a heel with WWE, it's always kind of worked, because like you actually seen menacing. When he's like in TNA and stuff, I was like, this guy's a joke.
This guy's just throwing a fit. He's throwing a hissy fit in one play, Let me ask you, by the way, right? Sting is one of 4 wrestlers that have Hogan without Hogan getting a victory over him back, yeah? Can you name me the other 3?
But Hogan didn't get a victory back off.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I always think Hogan's beating everyone somehow, because he hired.
No, I'm not talking about. Okay. There's one guy from WCW here and 2 other from WWE.
The Rock's one of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And 2 from WCW.
No, 1 more from WWE and 1 more from WCW.
Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah, okay.
You won't be saying the name, I'm not allowed to say. And WCW. I'm trying to think of dead people.
No. This guy's alive.
Oh, okay. It's not Flair.
Oh, you're gonna slap yourself when I tell you.
It's a blatant one, isn't it?
Yes, it's a blatant one.
I want to say Jeff Jarrett.
No.
Oh
No,
man, it should have been because Jeff Jarrett's awesome. I really don't know.
Okay. Can you give yourself a chest chop if you when I tell you this guy, because that's what you should do.
All right.
Goldberg.
Oh snap! Yeah. How did I forget about that?
Yeah. It's like yeah, Goldberg rarely loses to anyone in WCW, so even though Hogan did kick out the jackhammer because Kevin Nash forgot to break it up, but yeah. Anyways.
Then who's the other person then?
Sorry?
Who's the other person? Is it? So are there two people from WCW or just one?
The Sting and Goldberg.
Yeah, and then
Rock and Rock.
Okay. Something I thought was another person. Never mind. Oh.
Yeah, it might have been Warrior, but Warrior, had he got hired back just a job, so
Yeah, as you do,
Okay. Yeah. So Sting then joined the Wolfpack, which I thought was kind of a bit weird.
Yep. I think we said this before. As a child, I thought it was awesome, and I got older, I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since the red face paint did not work with the black.
No.
Because there wasn't enough contrast.
No, it was just like...
Because it was a dark red.
Yeah, it's like a dark red and like a glossy red. No, it's like it was glossy like red.
Yeah.
So it would just look shiny, and then it's just...
Yeah, they needed a kind of like a maybe a matte red.
Yeah.
With glossy black.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
Oh, and I think so when his makeup changed, right? What did you think? Did you think the chrome makeup was now that he's changed it to more his signature makeup? Did you prefer that, or did you think that was a departure from the chrome makeup, or do we like it more suits to not be a complete ripoff?
I prefer the newer sort of one, like you say, because it feels like there's more effort put into it rather than stealing.
Yeah. I will say it made more like when he came back as a Crow, you want it to be like, okay, this is where he got inspired from to directly rip off for now, fine, right?
Yeah.
But then you kind of transition it to your own thing, which is fair enough as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think of though? Did he have the soul patch around this time as well?
I don't think he did. No, but the soul patch a later thing.
I don't. I can't recall whether, because rarely does he go out without his makeup, so I don't know whether he did or didn't. All I know is that he had painted that black as well with his face paint, so he did this Cesar Romero thing, where Cesar Romero is painting over his mustache with the Joker makeup. So, yeah.
I think that. I think that's more a later thing, but I don't know.
Yeah. Could be wrong. Yeah. So, anything else you remember from the WCW period of Sting?
Just the weird heel turn.
Yeah.
His last match.
Wait. So the weird heel turn and where he got bitten by where Sting swapped out with a stuntman to get bit by a dog during a match.
Yeah, and also when he got set on fire by
Vampiro, right?
Yeah.
Where the stuntman got set on fire on top of the WCW Titantron.
Yeah.
That was also the time period where Sting was rappelling down from the rafters. I think who was it in Vampiro's gang? I can't remember, but he couldn't unlatch, so they poured blood all over him and stuff and left him hanging.
Yeah.
Which
Sting was Sting, the Demon Del Torborg, and not Sting, sorry, Vampiro. That guy just said
the Kiss Demon, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it might be Insane Clown Posse, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Kiss Demon, by the way, as you know, that he was specified if they were going to use Kiss trademark stuff, they had to use the Demon in main events for a certain amount of main events, right?
Yeah.
But because the Demon, when he was Crush, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
But then when he wasn't Crush,
wait, that's a different person.
What? Yeah. Chris Demon was crushed to begin with. Brian
Oh
Adams,
yeah, then it changed it. Then it changed it. Del Torborg, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but because they had the contract written down that he had to be in a certain amount of main events,
Yeah.
anytime the Chris Demon wrestled, WCW were like, oh yes, a special, a main event, a special co-main event or whatever it is, just to get around the wording because they didn't want to put that guy in the main event.
No, because he was terrible.
Yeah. I think this is also around. Yeah. So, yeah. What did you think of that feud with Vampiro? Well, hold on. Do you remember anything from the NWO Red Sting?
No, he was just happy all the time. That's what I really remember. Like,
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Where he was hyping up his boys in the NWO, which would have been Nash, Luger,
himself, Macho Man, and K-Dog.
Yeah, so he did this promo where he's hyping them all up, and then he said, and my boy K-Dog, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
He didn't want to talk about multi-time world champion, nothing. He just been like, yeah, and this other, everyone else, whatever, and this dude.
Yeah, like, sadly, he's probably more qualified than anyone in the ring, as he's like multiple-time champion in like Mexico and stuff. But yeah.
He was the most pop. And not to knock Conan, right? But I didn't know none of that stuff at the time.
No, neither did I.
He was just a dude in the Wolfpack, but wasn't as cool as the rest of the Wolfpack because they had name value,
Yeah.
And he wasn't booked like them either, so yeah. He was the guy, he was the guy to take the pins.
Yeah, he was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's what he looked like to us, anyways, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't remember much of the NWO Red Sting,
No.
NWO Wolfpack Sting, Yeah. Other than he was having a feud with Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Where Bret Hart used to, where Bret Hart, I enjoyed Bret Hart's heel during this period because he's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight clean whatsoever, and then sometimes it backfire on me. But
because when it as well, like, when the feud technically sort of based on, hey, we both do the same sort of submission move.
Yeah, I think he went in that direction afterwards, but I don't know if it was that at that point, but I will point out when you said Sting was the most gullible man in professional wrestling. Bret Hart and Hogan were kind of have a match on Nitro. I Quit match, I believe, but Bret got injured before the match, and he still came out for the match.
Yeah.
So Sting came out and took his place, right? And then Bret Hart's outside the ring cheering Sting on. So when Sting had his deathlock on the Hogan, Bret then just DDT Sting right out of it.
Yeah.
And then they all beat up Sting.
Yeah,
and then Sting quit. I quit. And it's like, well, Sting, where are the rest of your boys to help you?
Yeah. Cause,
I think they got locked in. Sometimes in wrestling where they're like, there's a logical reason why no one come out to help you.
Yeah.
And it might have been they got locked in whatever locker room, whatever it is, yeah. But sometimes you're like, all right, no one comes out to help you for no reason.
But did he have boys at the time? I can't remember.
I think, was he not with the NWO still?
I don't even know, I can't remember. I think he was. I think there was a reason behind it now that you're saying that, but I don't remember. I think there was a reason. I think they got locked in a room. I think it cuts the backstage footage and they're like banging on the door trying to get out. Like, oh, okay.
Okay, well,
it's like 6 of you, 2 or 3 of you maybe on roids. I'm not saying you were. And none of you can kick down the door. All right, sure.
Yeah.
That's not weird.
And then there was one period where Sting, so DDP was heel. Sting won the title of DDP, and then an hour later on Nitro, DDP won it back in a 4-way match.
Yeah.
Where I think, was it Nash? Flair had Nash in the figure 4. Wait a minute. No, I'm thinking of something else. Because that's that old Macho Man gave the elbow on Nash, and then DDP took the pin. But that couldn't have happened because Sting would have had to be in the match.
Could he have? This was WCW.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
So I remember. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember any of it, but I don't know.
And I think Sting also had a match when Goldberg won the title of Hogan. Right?
Yeah.
And he had Goldberg in a Scorpion Deathlock. And who knows if Goldberg was going to tap out or not, but it'd be the closest to Goldberg being defeated clean at that point, right?
Yeah.
Hogan then came in and kicked Sting in the face.
Yeah.
Well, the referee was checking if Goldberg was going to tap. Right? Hogan then obviously rolled out a ring and hid underneath the ring apron because he's Hogan, right?
Yeah.
Sting then got speared and jackhammered. And then Goldberg said, I don't count that as a victory because of,
Yeah.
Because I saw the action replay, even though... Action replay? What do you mean in wrestling?
Yeah, what is action replay? It's a technology that only exists when we want it to exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, like we said, Sting drove the Black Hummer, even though he didn't drive the Black Hummer.
Yeah.
Why did he turn heel there? I can't remember.
Don't remember either. Probably something dumb.
Oh, probably because Hogan was going back to the red and yellow. Hogan was going to turn face, and so Sting had to turn heel. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So stupid. All stupid. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I do remember Sting. What did he do? He came out to have a match with someone. I think was it a match with Hogan? I can't remember. Yeah. He came out. He was advertised for a match, and I can't remember what happened. Right, but then that match didn't happen. So then he came out again at the main event of the pay-per-view, and he said, "Well, I challenge anyone to a match." Right, and he had the title with him, so the implication was for a title match, yeah?
Yeah.
And I think that's what Mark Buffer, whoever announced it. When Goldberg came out, he beat Sting, right? And then Sting was like, no. Like, on the Nitro, he was like, no, that wasn't for the title, because I never said it was for the title. But then, because it was unclear, Sting got stripped off the title because of that. It's like, huh? All right.
Sounds
okay.
dumb.
Yeah, and then he was put up in the tournament where Sting turned face, I think, because he had to face Bret Hart in the quarterfinals. Is this when he was coming out to Seek and Destroy?
It could have been because that later part of WCW he was coming out to Seek and Destroy.
Yeah. Which then he stopped coming out to.
Yeah.
Did he only come out to for about a year?
About that, yeah. That's probably how long they're the license for.
Like he came out, in this standard Sting singlet, but I think when he had Seek and Destroy, he had his leather trousers with his trench coat.
Did he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it seemed like around that period because I don't think he was wearing this standard Sting singlet at that point. I might be wrong, but yeah. And I think that's when he turned face again.
Yeah. And
I remember, was he feuding with Luger? Because I know he did feud with Luger. I don't know if that's what turned him face. I think,
because I think Luger turned on him. Yeah. And that's when he became perfect.
Oh, yeah. So it's the same quarterfinals for the tournament that for that WCW title that he lost to Bret Hart. I think Luger came to interfere. And then he hit, and then he decided what he was going to do is hit Sting in the ankle with his whatever, because Sting's decided to stop Luger from cheating. So cheating to help him, by the way.
Yeah.
So then, he ended up hitting Sting in the ankle, and then, it's just weird because it's WCW. Because Bret Hart didn't want to win like that, when they told the referee not to call the match. It's like, wait a minute, that's a disqualification, and you would have lost, so you wouldn't have won the match like that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, then he continued the match. Sting was putting the Scorpion. He put Bret Hart in the Scorpion Deathlock, and Bret Hart reversed into the sharpshooter and got the tap out, which made sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So Sting feuding with Luger. Now I remember Elizabeth trying to convince Sting that Luger's being abusive to her or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So then she's like, Sting's like, all right, I'll protect you, yeah? Here, take this mace, right? Because Luger might double cross, come across, you might need it at some point. Because if I'm in a match and Luger comes out, then I can't, I don't know how I can't, maybe I won't make it back in time. Anyway, so at some point, he is in a match, I can't remember if it was Luger or not. Then Elizabeth, as you know, tries to betray Sting with the mace that Sting gave Elizabeth. and it turns out she's spraying Sting in the face, and it's Silly String, and it's like, oh, he actually grew a brain.
But how do you not? Oh, there's
So
a big difference, like in weight when it comes to Silly String and Mace. You wouldn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you point out randomly. I was reading something, right?
Hmm.
So Clark Kent obviously looks buff, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he was like, there's an apartment near Lois or whatever, and he's like, she came around at some point, right, for something, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then she's picking up his weights, his tiny little pathetic weights, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I have weights heavier than this in my house. What? This makes no sense. But obviously, comic wise, it makes a lot of sense because Clark can't tell the difference between a heavy and lightweight at that point because he's used to things so much heavier, and he was like in his head like thinking, she's
clocked onto me, crap.
Yeah, no, it's like just like, how it was one of those things that you're like, it's perfectly logical.
Yeah.
When for all these years, yeah. So just a side tangent that you're talking about weights.
Yeah.
And then the Human Torch match, which I don't know what can I say about that, right?
Yeah.
Where they trying to get Vampiro over because their new blood never seemed to get any victories over the Millionaires Club, so or any significant victories to any degree that they got over as well. They just be like jump with interference. Bullet Club before Bullet Club, right? Yeah. But at least Bullet Club could hold their own before.
Yeah. Bullet Club done wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I think there was a US title match that he was involved in, US tournament. US title tournament, and he faced Scott Steiner, who then beat him because Scott Steiner is going to use them lead butter pipes and all that stuff. So, and then he came back to do the last Nitro.
Yeah. With Ric Flair.
He defeated Ric Flair. Ric Flair wearing a t-shirt because Ric Flair wasn't in shape.
Yeah, and he was self-conscious at the time,
Yeah, because he didn't know that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
And they only had the 13-minute match. It was like, okay, fair enough, right? Have them sign off WCW because they were the ones that were the mainstays.
Yeah.
Which
makes sense.
Yeah. It was good logical booking.
Yeah. It'd be weird if there's anything different, to be fair.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Yeah.
So that was Sting's time in the Sea of W. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to try and do it in Broken Matt Hardy way, but I couldn't think of it.
The Championship of Wrestling. Yeah.
Yes.
How you would.
The Championship Wrestling of the World. Yes.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, he did well in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
When we move on to TNA, that's a different story. That's like peaks and valleys.
Okay.
Yeah. TNA.
Well, actually, let me just ask you two things before we move on to that, right?
Okay. Yep.
Sting's WCW career overall, in your opinion, what do you think of it? Did it treat him well? Did he do well in what he was given? If you had his career in WCW, would you be happy with it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like Sting, for all he was loyal to WCW, so they kind of treated him right. But he always kind of going back and watching it now.
Yeah.
He kind of felt to me if in case of emergency, break and put Sting in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say he did have the high profile feuds. But then sometimes he'd be directionless in the mid card.
Yeah,
which is a bit weird.
Once that guy came, Hogan, he just went downhill. If I'm honest, his career kind of just went perpetual mid carder until the whole year he fights Hogan, and then nothing really happens with Sting after that.
Yeah. The thing is, though, if he had actually had squashed Hogan and on the Starrcade, right, and then what's the one in January? Is it sold out in January?
Could be. Can't remember. Something stupid like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they had a more equal match. Then fair enough. And then you'd be like, oh yeah, they ended that particular feud. I mean that section of the feud well. And then you think, oh, career highlights. But then you're like, because of how it did go, you're like, maybe he should have pushed back against that specifically.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time in WCW, he wasn't as straight to say is when the man didn't do anything, he was so over.
Yeah,
and then when he
was.
started doing stuff, he got watered down in a way.
Yeah, he just. I just think, they didn't. Personally, they didn't treat him right.
But if I was him getting paid what he was getting paid, having that career, I would be happy with it.
But then I don't think he was probably getting as much as we think he was getting paid. There's no way.
Well,
he
was
getting...
in kayfabe, he was in the Millionaires Club, which must mean he was
well,
getting over $1 million, right?
Doubt that.
Okay.
I don't know. For some reason, I just doubt that. Like, I know.
Well. When WWF at the time was buying out WCW, they were going to give people. They were buying out contracts at 50 cents for the dollar.
Yeah.
Like, and Sting was like, "Now I'm going to sit at home," probably because he was getting big money, like Goldberg as well, and Nash and Hall and stuff. So.
Yeah, but there's no way. I don't think he was getting paid Nash, Hall, and Hogan money. It was...
Oh yeah, you don't think he was getting relative to that? You think he? Okay, do you think payment wise, right? The payment, the number one payment level is Hogan. Okay?
Yeah.
Then it's the outsiders underneath that, and then Sting underneath that.
No, probably Flair before Sting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For some reason, I even think Luger probably got paid more than Sting, if I'm honest.
Well, I do believe they said that when Luger was going to jump to WCW, Bischoff offered him a third to a quarter of what he was getting in WWF, and Luger took it. So I don't know how much he jumped up after that. I don't think Luger was getting more than Sting personally.
I don't know, because
we obviously we don't have access to the accounts. We won't know.
But if you look back, Luger was doing more than Sting.
Oh, you mean during that 18 months where Sting wasn't doing anything?
No, but after that.
Okay.
Like, after all the NWO stuff like that, remember he was like the total package and he had...
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's constantly doing something. Sting was hardly ever doing anything, really.
Okay.
So I kind of think, Sting...
I think, obviously, Hogan was getting paid whatever, but Sting was in the bracket relative to the outsiders and Goldberg.
I don't know.
In my opinion, anyways. But that,
things like that. For some reason, I feel like it's kind of the whole TNA... Everyone was getting paid more than AJ, even though AJ was doing a lot.
Yes, okay, fair enough. Yeah. I get your logic. And let me ask you one more thing, right? Did you ever think WCW ever resolved the mystery of who drove the Black Hummer?
Nah, I've watched many documentaries about it and it's never been resolved.
So, my logic, I assume this is what I'm piecing together by what the evidence that's given to me, but it's WCW. So when when the Black Hummer hit Kevin Nash's limo, and then they were when Sting turned heel, they were like, Sting was seeing the Black Hummer, remember? And he's just like, well, okay, you didn't need to, if the storyline wasn't going to be resolved, you don't bring that stuff up. Anyways,
maybe
later on,
they was trying to, and then they just
Then way later on when the New Blood happened, Kidman and Bischoff, who were they running over in a white Hummer?
Hogan.
Was it Hogan? Yeah. And then, so my logic was that, I guess they drove the Black Hummer because they've actually wrapped it around. So they kind of resolved the mystery without saying it. They gave you what evidence you used to conclude it. However, they never outright said it. So
I think you're giving them way too much credit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they forgot about it, and having a Black Hammer is cool when you're doing like a crime. So that's why they used a different one. Okay. I doubt it.
Fair enough. Okay. Sting's TNA career, because he was at World Wrestling All Stars, but we never saw none of that. So.
Oh yeah, that one in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah. So no opinions on that.
No.
TNA, his TNA career. What did you think of that?
Another one that was like some weird high and low moments.
Okay.
For me, like, when he came, it's gonna sound really weird. Yeah. It made TNA feel like WCW again, where like older dudes are coming in and getting mega pushes for stuff they did like 20 years ago.
Okay.
But they treated him well. He was champion a couple of times, isn't it?
Yep. I think when he went to AEW, they used his star power to draw eyes to the product. because at this point they had Jeff Jarrett and Raven.
Yeah, but Jeff Jarrett's the best. So
Jeff Jarrett, Raven, Ken Shamrock, and Ron Killings.
Well, also
AKA
you got
Six Pack.
Yeah, Six Pack who came and went whenever.
Yeah.
The Road Dogg, sorry, Jesse
BG James.
BG James, yeah. Before Billy Gunn came.
AKA Kip James.
Kip James, yeah. Yeah, who else did they really have?
Yeah.
But he joined when they were TNA, not TNA / NWA / TNA Wildside, where it was.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he would have been best used to help their TNA branded talent get over, and that's not necessarily they pin Sting, right? What is this like association and whatnot, you know? All the stuff that you don't need to necessarily have him get pinned to help other people get over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also, by the way, where they filmed Sting's Christian conversion film, the Moment of Truth. I say Christian conversion. I'm not mocking it anyway. What I'm saying is,
No.
At the end of the movie, he's praying for the better life because of the wrestling life has
tainted his soul.
Yeah, or something, whatever it is. And then he's like, "Well, look, the man is of faith, right? Fair enough."
Yeah.
And I feel like he's trying to bring his faith to other people. Yeah. Which is also fair. However, this film doesn't do a good job of doing that.
No.
There was a sit-down interview he did with Shawn Michaels after they both converted, right?
Okay, yeah.
On a Christian channel, whatever. But I thought that did a better job of portraying their beliefs than this movie. This movie, right? I don't know. It's just that it seems like most of the movie is Sting or fake young Sting talking on the phone, moaning about his wife about why are you doing this to me and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then getting haunted by. Then you got WCW footage somehow they used, and then you've got him wrestling TNA talent in a ring with with the lights kind of no crowds, yeah. But then sometimes they cut to footage while he's wrestling with no crowds to crowd footage in WCW to the action, and they cut back, and it's like, huh? And then he's wrestling Abyss in WCW, and Jeff Jarrett at the time. What? You know, I mean, fair enough. Timelines are a mess or whatever, right? But it just seemed like where you try. I see what you're trying to do, but your execution is lacking.
Poor. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, he's got the interviews or the reporters talking to him, and he's talking about his career and how he was feeling. I don't know, see going on a downward spiral, or whatever. And then there's a section in the garage where he's after WCW, right?
Yeah.
After tape. And you got a dude driving a motorcycle and he put next to Stinger and he goes, and then they're talking and the guy's like, oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah. You should come and meet us. And he's like, because he's thinking maybe the guy's trying to invite him to a club or pub or whatever. He goes, no, brother. Come church with us one time and stuff like that. So, all right, fair enough. But I think at the very end, before the way he's praying to God and stuff like that, he's getting haunted. He's on a psychiatric table thing, right? With doctors over him, with the whatever they're gonna do, yeah?
Yeah.
Like the Joker in Batman '89 when the doctor was fixing his face, yeah?
Yeah.
Getting haunted by pictures of. So they're flashing the TNA talent.
Okay.
Around the cage in blackness.
So
but the way it looks like I Sting screaming, it's like you got half naked, like, you know, Chris Harris just wears trunks, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just like what, flashing over like several semi-naked guys, and you're like having a mental breakdown. Oh, no, go this way. It's like, huh? All right. I mean, it's almost. I know what's going on, right? But you kind of giving a different impression here.
So he's scared of people that he kind of he's probably never met.
I probably has met Chris Harris at this point.
Chris Harris, but I mean like other TNA talent which he had not met.
At this point in his career, because this is supposed to be at the end of WCW,
Yeah. So and they're giving him like reasons to convert to Christianity.
I don't know. I think at that point he had his crisis of faith, mental breakdown sort of thing, and then he prayed to God, and God helped him overcome all that stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's how the film ends, right? Yeah. But I'm just like, I don't know what was going on there. Is it more like a David Lynch style art piece than an actual movie with a message?
Yeah, because I remember I watched this because you sent it to me, so I watched a bit of it. And I remember watching it years ago.
Yeah.
And I just sat there like, I don't get what the point of this is. Like, I don't like. I've seen lots of like these sort of Christian-y sort of conversion film and stuff, and a lot of them make sense to me. Yeah. But this one didn't.
Yeah.
It seems like I really don't know what you're trying to portray to me, and like that. Maybe they should have got someone else to act as Sting, because Sting can't save his life. Maybe that might have helped.
Sting can act as Sting, yeah? That's the most authentic thing here, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's even... You want to get someone who can act. Say if you want to convert people to something, yeah?
Yeah.
You need someone who can act. So you're like, okay, I'm convinced about this. Not someone who says, it's showtime, folks.
Yeah, it's different, by the way. If Sting was sitting on the... Like, you know how they did Young Rock?
Yeah. If he was narrating it, and then and you had someone else actually acting as him, like, okay, cool, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
even though the guy playing young Sting wasn't the greatest actor in the world either.
No.
Probably should have been one of his sons, right?
I don't know if he's... Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know if that'd be worse or better, by the way.
Well, but then at least you can... I don't know. Just weird. Just like it's a weird show. I mean, show, whatever it is.
Yeah. So Sting's feud in TNA. When was the first thing you saw of Sting in TNA?
I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to wait. So wait, because when he was in TNA, they weren't NWA affiliated anymore, was they? They were TNA by that time, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think maybe he had random appearances, like DDP had random appearances, but not full-time contract until... Well, not full-time contract because it's TNA, but, actually be frequently on the show until it was actually TNA. Oh, no. No, there was still NWA because he won the NWA title, I think. Oh, yeah, you're right. It went until 2007, I think, when they actually... Yeah. And by that point, Kurt Angle was in it.
Yeah, Kurt Angle, and that's when he had the actual TNA title, in it, rather than Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember he had a feud with... the only feud I kind of early remember is his feud with Samoa Joe.
Oh, that's way late.
Yeah, I can't remember anything before that.
Okay, let me see if I can remember anything before that. And you might have to correct me if my timeline's a bit wrong.
Okay.
Sting's feud with Abyss, was that before the Samoa Joe stuff?
I think.
Because Samoa Joe stuff was Main Event Mafia, yep?
No, it's before that. He had a feud with him before that.
Oh, no, as in... that's when the beginnings of the Main Event Mafia was happening.
No, I think it was way before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, before... Because I remember this is when Joe had his longish hair. And by the time in Main Event Mafia and that stuff, he didn't have the long hair anymore.
Are you talking about when in Bound for Glory where Sting and Samoa Joe had that a match?
Yeah, and he done that stupid run and drop kick down the flight of concrete stairs, and he instantly wrote it.
Okay, I think oh, okay, no, you okay. Now, to be fair, I don't remember much of Sting prior to that either. I know he was on the show and he did stuff.
Yeah. Because according to Wikipedia, he between 2004 and 2003 he done sporadic appearances.
Yeah.
Then in 2005, he joined in 2005. Okay. He had a feud with Jeff Jarrett from 2005 to 2006. Okay. Yeah, that's way before Main Event Mafia.
Yeah. But for some reason we blocked this. Well, I don't think he did anything of significance for us to remember anything, right?
No.
I think his first major thing was when he Wait, hold on. Christian had the title, yeah? So Christian beat Jeff Jarrett for the title.
Yeah.
Who beat Christian for the title?
That's a good point. I actually don't know.
Because was it Abyss?
No, because I don't think Abyss was ever properly world champion.
Oh no, he was.
Was it?
And this is why I remember. Okay, we're going to skip back and forth here while we work it out. But Sting and Abyss did have a feud, yeah. And Abyss won the title on a count out because the NWA title at the time could be lost by a count out or disqualification. No, he won by DQ.
Okay.
Yeah, because the title. I think it's actually a good ruling, right? Because if you're a champion and you hold the title, you want to fight fair, even though you got champion's advantage. Even though some people use their champion's advantage, right? But then they overly rely on it sometimes. So it's just like even footing all around. However, that does limit sometimes your storylines because if it's a heel champion, right? You've got but as in different organizations have different rule sets. It's fine to me. But this is what they had the match. Sting strung up Abyss, Sting being the champion at the time.
Yeah.
And then he hit Abyss with the baseball bat a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then he lost the match because of DQ.
Yeah, I'm reading that now.
And then then Abyss was the first. Well, Abyss is the world champion who won on a disqualification, and I believe the second world champion. Second guy who won a world champion on a disqualification is Christian Cage when he kicked after he spat Randy Orton's face.
Yeah, and then Randy kicked him in the nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jeff Jarrett lost it to Christian, and then Christian lost it in a King of the Mountain match. Yeah, that's how he lost it. And then Sting.
To Sting?
It just says. It doesn't say. Yes, then Sting, beat Jeff Jarrett for it, yeah.
And then
Abyss, yeah.
He won it off. I don't even say Sting lost it to Abyss, but I don't want to say Abyss won it off Sting because
Abyss
that kind of is not what happened.
It. Yeah, he was awarded the title. He won it.
And then did Christian win it off Abyss later on?
And then after that, Christian vacated it, and then it became the TNA title. That's when the NWA.
Yeah, I want to say I think what happened was, technically it was a vacation, but it wasn't a vacation.
No,
he was a King of the Mountain match, I believe. Kurt Angle won it, but then they did some sort of ruling because the NWA decided they weren't going to be part of TNA.
Yeah, that was it. So then TNA sort of announced it and then re-announced it as the TNA title. Yeah.
Yep. But there was an Abyss Sting match somewhere in this.
They had that weird feud. Isn't it when they had the first Monsters Ball match as well?
Was that the one where they're using gravestones and whatnot and a coffin? I believe
so, yeah.
And this is where Abyss was dragging the gravestones as though they were heavy, right?
Yeah.
And then later on in the match, Sting just grabbed the gravestones and just lifted them up.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. Abyss president was like, oh, cool, well, I sold that, and then you just, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I look like an idiot. Great.
Yeah. I have to say, by the way, while I was watching the match, I didn't catch that. However, when someone points it out, you can never unsee it.
Yeah. It's one of those things like, okay. That's been broken for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kurt Angle had the title.
Yep.
Had the feud with Samoa Joe where they had the MMA style wrestling match, which was pretty good. You know what? It's the style of match that Bryan Danielson does.
Yeah, well, I think this is before its time.
And Shibata as well.
Yeah, it's one of these things. I don't think the mainstream was ready for this at the time.
Yeah. And then Joe started beating up all the talent.
Yeah.
Who just happened to be feuding with him, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's when Sting was the last one he puts away. He was going to not put away, but just be like, you know what? I mean, these just happen to be my opponents, right? And they all happen to be
old.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then Sting was like, well, I'm standing up for these people because you're disrespecting the people that paved the way for people like you.
Yeah.
Even though I believe Nash was on Samoa Joe's side, kind of.
Yeah, but then wasn't that a swerve?
Yes, because after Joe did that, the one-legged drop kick onto the steps, which messed up his tailbone.
Yeah. Adrenaline.
And you know what? I like that match actually because Smojo is just merciless, beating up Sting. Sting being a proper underdog, and Smojo's like, I ain't even gonna pin this guy. I'm gonna hit him with a power move. Yeah, ref, just count him because he's trash, which is heelish.
Yeah.
But obviously he wasn't a heel at the time, but he was just it's just like. He was a force to be reckoned with, and he was like, this guy's stepping up to me. Fine, I'll put him down. But that makes Joe look good as well.
Yeah.
And then I believe Nash was stopped. Did he stop Sting using the baseball bat?
I think so.
And then I think Samoa Joe went to use the baseball bat or something like that, and Nash then. He went to give the baseball bat to Samoa Joe or something like that. Samoa Joe tried to take it, and then Nash pulled it back, going, no, ain't gonna happen. And then, so Joe got distracted, and then he got the Scorpion Death Drop. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then Sting won, and then Nash was back because it was a swerve all along, and it's just like, but why? Why? Because there was the entire match where Samoa Joe could have won, and Nash didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, it was. That's what I can say.
Yeah.
And I think and then this led into the whole main event mafia thing. Yeah, you're right.
Which I know you kind of said that Sting turned heel here, and I kind of say, well, he's more on the cusp. He was a how am I going to put it, right? He was a Batman in a group of Lex Luthors.
No, I'll still say because the first couple of months, Main Event Mafia, Sting does the heelish things, and then it's I don't know. It's well, Wikipedia says heel, but
okay. I'm gonna do this. I think he sided with them, right? But they didn't make him go full heel on it because he'd only attack back if he was getting attacked, and obviously if every other heel was attacking all the faces, they're gonna attack Sting. I
think you're giving TNA too much credit.
Okay. Okay.
No, because I remember I was watching TNA at this point. And I was like,
okay. Well, your opinion is different from mine. We're looking at it from a Captain America Civil War point of view here, right?
Yeah, because his whole beef was like, the young guys, they're annoying and they don't respect us, and then he'll like do heelish things like swear he'd beat up someone with a baseball bat, and then then Kurt Angle came. Wait, Kurt Angle joined a bit later, didn't he?
I believe. No, Scott Steiner was the last to join. Well, Samoa Joe was the last to join. And then they kicked. Wait, no. Okay, yeah. By that point, they kicked out Sting.
Yeah, because I know there was 2 main event mafias.
Yeah.
Because they tried it again, and I think Joe was in it.
Did they try it again, or did they just kick Sting out and replace him with Samoa Joe?
No, they tried. I remember. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they tried it again, and Joe and Magnus was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this is like years later.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. No, hold on. Let me see. No. There was something just before this, right? There was just something just before this. This is where Pac-Man Jones won the tag title.
With Ron the Truth Killings, who basically
no. So it's just before that. This is just before that. So Wales, every single TNA title, it's the IWGP third generation title. No, third belt, which wasn't the belt that New Japan was using, because it was the belt that the Inoki Going Federation was using. And Kurt Angle was champion of that because he beat Brock Lesnar. Because Brock Lesnar, had contract issues or whatever, right? This is where he's not allowed to wrestle anymore because WWF wouldn't let him wrestle. Anyways, that's a whole different thing. And so Kurt Angle had the TNA Championship and the IWGP Championship. Samoa Joe was X Division Champion, and then he won it was them versus the Team 3D. Right? And whoever pinned each person, any person, got their belt. And I believe Samoa Joe pinned Devon Dudley because Devon's the most expendable of the 4.
Yeah.
He could have pinned Bubba, but I believe he pinned Devon. So then it was Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe, every single belt on the line.
Oh yeah, that
which,
was good, man. Yeah.
Which Thingamajig won, Kurt Angle, right?
Yeah.
And then Kurt Angle had to choose got to choose a tag team partner of his own volition. It wasn't a tournament to be his tag team partner, right?
Yeah.
I think didn't he pick Sting because I think this was when it was kind of feuding. It was that weird, like, can they coexist or weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah.
And Ron Killings. And because Pac-Man Jones couldn't wrestle, this is when our boy Consequences Creed, aka
Xavier Woods. Yes.
Yeah, the son of Apollo Creed, even though it's a fictional character.
Mm-hmm.
But then we say in the kayfabe world, TNA is also fictional.
Yeah.
So it actually, and as far as continuity is concerned, Rocky happened. The story of Rocky, the film series of Rocky, existed in real life in the world of TNA. For Apollo Creed's son to be Consequences Creed.
Yeah.
And then there's a splinter continuity where his son is actually Adonis Creed.
Oh, like Earth 1 and Earth 2 sort of thing.
yeah, exactly.
Or a weird Cyclops and many kids sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
From different timelines and realities. Or, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think this is where then later on Kurt Angle and Sting would have a match for the title.
Yeah.
And Kurt Angle did this. Oh, so Kurt Angle would lose the exhibition title to JB Full.
Yeah.
And then he'd lose the tag team titles to Pac-Man Jones and Ron Killings. And then who did he have the world title match with? Can't remember.
It would.
Maybe it was Abyss. I can't remember. But then Kurt Angle had 3 matches in one TNA pay-per-view. A bit like when Triple H.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Perk Angle, because when he was on
Perk Angle, yes. When he was on all the drugs.
Yeah.
And then he had the Bound for Glory title match against Sting, in which he had the baseball bat and Sting was meant to catch it, except Sting didn't catch it.
Yep.
It clocked Sting over the head,
Yep.
and then he caught it afterwards, which made it look even better, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it just mean like he took it, yeah, and he was like, nah.
No, son, I can.
Yeah.
Have bats thrown in my face.
My Superman Sting power up just overruled this baseball bat shot.
Oh, so weird. Oh, hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I remember that because Kurt Angle did the 450 where his knees just landed on Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's landed on his toes as well. But yeah, you want to be a 450 knee crush. So
yeah, didn't like that. Didn't like it. Oh, that was a weird.
And then,
the weird thing is they keep. I remember they showed it for a while. The replays like you shouldn't show that. That's a botch. Just,
Yeah, and that's dangerous. That's a dangerous.
You're not putting over your company, man. You just.
Yeah, and then we go into Main Event Mafia.
Yep.
And then why did they kick Sting out?
Oh, it was a dumb reason. I know behind the scenes Sting didn't want to be heel.
Yeah.
So then I think they kind of wingled around it. Like, you're not doing your job. So Kurt Angle is going to be the godfather of...
No. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had a match and he attacked him. And then... Yeah. Kurt Angle says, I'm the godfather of it. And then... Sting went away from it.
He lost the championship to Mick Foley. And then they had... Oh, this is the ladder match. This is the King of the Mountain match where Mick Foley decided, I'm going to have to wrestle Rooney at the commentary desk and commentate. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's a match going on. You might lose your title if you're not involved.
Yeah. It's like, this is a bit of a weird...
Yeah.
Okay,
this is where Samoa Joe, Tyson Tattoo Face Samoa Joe had the title, climbed up the ladder with it, yeah? And as Kurt Angle's climbing on the other side, even though they've been beating up each other during the entire match, he hands the title to Kurt Angle for Kurt Angle to place it on the thing and win. And it's just like, why? That makes no sense.
Yeah, this was super dumb.
Yeah.
And I think
unless
I
you
buried it
avoided
from my memory.
Sorry, go on. No, you go first.
No, I was saying I think I actually buried it from my memory because how stupid it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have went the whole match without Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle touching each other, which wouldn't have been suspicious.
No.
Right?
No.
Because there's so many bodies.
But yet you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TNA gonna TNA, right? To be fair, it's not the first time a company has done this.
No, it's like one of the worst tropes in wrestling. Like, really. Alright, there's so many clever ways you can get around doing something like that, but you just don't even think about it. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah.
TNA gonna TNA.
Yeah. And then he joined with I don't think he joined with the front. The TNA front nine. I don't even think they were a proper unit either.
No, because they was like in a beef with themselves as well, which made no sense as well. So.
Yeah. And you would have thought, by the way, when you got AJ Styles, Mojo, and the Moxie machine guns and stuff like that. Christian Cage. You could come with a band enough talent together to take on what 6 members? The 6 members, right, of the Main Event Mafia.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Kurt Angle. Oh, Sting, but Sting left. Kevin Nash, Booker T, Scott Steiner. Wait, what? Christian Cage? Just for a day, okay.
Well, yeah, because he lost a match, right?
Yeah.
And then Christian lost a match in which that if he had to join the Main Event Mafia if he got beat or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, you're gonna go to WWF, right? And Christian's like, well.
Oh yeah, this is how they write him out, isn't it?
Yeah. They basically beat him up to send him off, and I was like, okay, that's kind of fair, but don't point it out. Just beat him out. You beat him up and just leave him to go, you know?
Yeah, why say that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so stupid. Yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, and then if I remember correctly, Kurt Angle held the title for a while until what's the event before Bound for Glory?
Slammiverse? No, Bound for Glory. Because it says here. Is it
No Surrender?
Lethal
Whatever
Lockdown,
the September pay-per-view was. Before Bound for Glory in October. There was a 5-way match. Sorry?
I think it was Lockdown.
No, Lockdown's got a steel cage.
Yeah, but okay, you're probably right. Because this is Surrender is in September. Yeah, September would be No Surrender. Yeah.
So it was meant to be a 4-way match, and then Hernandez cashed in his Feast or Fired match, even though then he just got pile driven at the ramp by Eric Young, and he wasn't even in the actual match.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle, Matt Morgan, Sting, and AJ Styles. Yeah.
Yep.
And everyone's beating each other up. Blah blah blah. Match is actually quite decent. Yeah. Quite good. But then I think Matt Morgan's on the outside. Kurt Angle's on the inside. AJ Styles is beating him up. Yeah. Sting is like looking at AJ. AJ turns around. They not they have a face off, but Sting just nods at him, and then he kind of just goes outside to do his thing and splash on Matt Morgan. So he's giving AJ the leeway to pin Kurt Angle without interference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which Kurt Angle does. AJ does. Yeah. And then Sting's like, yeah, like my fellow. I want to say my fellow Christian because they're both Christians, but you know what I mean. Like, this guy, passing the torch, or not necessarily passing the torch. AJ's won the title many times during this point, but it's just like, giving them the rub. And I think just before this, right, the entire storyline was leading to AJ Styles having this like little crisis of faith of his abilities at that point, right?
Yeah.
Sting was trying to talk him into, no, you're AJ Styles, multiple-time world champion and stuff. You can do this.
You can do this until someone else comes, gets pay higher than you, and then you get pushed. But we won't say anything. Yeah.
But anyways, so that happened there, yeah? Then Sting and AJ had a match at Bound for Glory. And then, which was alright, yeah? But I think they started running low on time, and AJ was supposed to do his springboard 450 and pin Sting, except that I think Sting was too close, so he couldn't. AJ couldn't do it, so he just did like a springboard splash and got the pin, which was a bit weird, yeah, because you're thinking, of all move. If he did a springboard frog splash, on the other hand, you might be like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But okay, and this is also when the springboard 450 was this kind of one of his other finishers, because I think he stopped doing the spiral tap because
it's too unpredictable.
He might miss. I think there's back issues as well, so and if they did have time, AJ should have just picked Sting up and gave him the Styles Clash. But when you in pay-per-view time's coming up, you gotta do stuff. At least AJ didn't throw that fit. Like, when he won that X Division title by completely missing the spiral tap.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. He should have just picked up. I mean, it's easy to say he should have just done this when you're afterwards, but he should have just picked up Frankie Kazarian and just did a small package and got the pin from there. But they did actually cut it pretty close because the program was coming close to the end there. But during this pay-per-view, I think they hug it out afterwards, and Sting's like, you're the man now, or something like that. But AJ has always kind of been the man of TNA, so I don't know how much of
the fans, them, no.
Yeah. And is this when he started going Joker Sting?
I believe, it would be, It starts coming, because.
Oh wait, this is where okay. Yeah. So Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Did he pin Sting? What happened? I think Sting was calling out Hogan and whatnot, right? Then he got beat by Rob Van Dam, and then Hogan was okay. Then he like by a quick roll up, something something that kind of protected Sting. And then Sting got a baseball bat and started beating up Rob Van Dam. Extensively long because Hogan seemed to miss his cue, not come out. Rob Van Dam's probably half dead at this point.
Yeah.
Right? If not full dead. Buried, right, by the baseball bat. And then, Hogan come out to stop Sting, to run off Sting, which is like, but that doesn't make Rob Van Dam look any good. Even though Rob Van Dam was to win the world title later off AJ Styles, so... Which I think
same night. Doesn't he win the title the same night he debuts on that? Isn't it?
No, I think it was a month after.
Something stupid like that. He wasn't in the company for long, but he won.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. I guess.
And this is the end of part 2 of our 3-part Sting career look back. I hope you've enjoyed. I think this ends when we talk about him maybe going to the WWE. I can't remember. Or we'll probably still talk about TNA. I can't remember. But anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow on Instagram. If you rewind back a bit, it already comes up on the screen telling you our social media handles. And again, don't forget to follow our friends at All Access Arcades. And yes, so I'll see you in the next episode. And I am the man with the crow face paint, Kyle Charles, and my co-host CY. And I'd like to thank you all for taking a trip with us around the Multiverse. Bye.